I'm not doing this just for money. This is a bucket list for me, if you remember.
I
Okay?
truly think you get off on this.
I do because I wrote these goals when I was a young man, about 25 years old, if you remember the story, okay? That if I ever made any money in life, I'd sell everything I owned and go buy me a Harley Davidson dealership. Well, now I have 2 Harley Davidson dealerships and 2 Indian dealerships.
I got to tell you something. I am fucking tired of everybody saying that I'm Bert. I'm not Bert. I'm just the guy that puts the mints in the urinals. I am not Bert. That is Bert.
Well, I am not tired of all the people saying that I'm Uncle Daddy when I'm Bert, okay? That's Uncle Daddy. But the point is, it's kind of funny how we get it run into all the
I
time.
had a lady come in yesterday and go, "Hey, Bert." I'm like, "I'm not Bert. I'm not Bert." You know?
I actually have some customers call me, Ralph, and will say, "Hey, Bert, what's going on?" And they think they're talking to you when they're actually talking to me, okay? And it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. But then they realize, oh, that's Uncle Daddy. That's not Bert, you know?
Well, they call me Bert until it's like a bank asking me for money and realize I have none. You know what I mean? I said, "No, you want Bert, not Uncle Daddy. Uncle Daddy's broke." But anyway, you know, this is something that I get all the time too. You know, a lot of businesses and a lot of places, man, a lot of them are just words. You know what I'm saying? They have slogans. They got their Creo, their crest, or whatever the hell you want to call it. So everybody always says, "What the fuck is nobody beats Bert's?" What is that? Is that just a slogan? What is it?
Well, it's simple. No, it's real. It's real. And you of anybody know it better because you actually invented that slogan. And what's funny about it is because of the way we do business, man. You know, I don't believe in matching. I want to beat it. I mean, think about this, Ralph. If if you're just going to match everybody, then why would they even shop there in the first place?
Yeah, like
Okay.
these guys that say, "Go out and get me the best price and then bring it back to me and I'll match it."
Yeah.
Who the fuck? I'm going to do all that legwork only for you to match it?
Right. And that's not gaining anything. If you give customers the experience that they want and you give them all the knowledge that they need and they know they're getting a square deal, okay? And they know that you mean what you say, they come back to you time and time and time again. And for those shoppers out there that are looking for that bargain hunting item, you got to respect that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Okay, so why shouldn't we be on that shopping list, and why shouldn't we deliver that? Okay, because that's person's integrity that we're talking about there. So we should not only support it, but we should beat it. That way, there, guess what they did? They win in what's important to them, and then we win because we gain a customer. It's just natural.
You know, the other thing I think about with Nobody Beats Me, it's not always about the money. It's not always about the money. A lot of times it is about the money, but it's also about what are you going to what are you doing for me that they're not going to do for me?
Right. And it's also if it's a deal like Mr. Trump says, the art of the deal. Okay. Well, the deal's not just the money itself. It's the financing, it's the taxes, it's where you live, it's where you register.
How you got to that?
That's exactly right. How are you going to finance it? Are you paying cash? You know, are you using Bitcoins? I mean, there's 1,000 different ways to manufacture the money deal, okay? So it's more to it than just one element.
But I'm just saying, there's some establishments that are in the same business that we're in, where you got to take a fucking Xanax to go shop there because it's so fucking stressful with their process. I think our process, the fun that we make it to buy a bike, the kick-ass customer experience, that our slogan, our crest, which is our real one of our, what do they call them? WPTK, work ethic, our positive attitude.
Kick-ass experience,
Kick-ass customer
teamwork.
experience and teamwork. That's our W, like Howard Stern used to say, you know, how Pig Vomit used to say WNBC. We say WPTK, WPTK. And so we try to get that into the brains of the employees. But seriously.
That's our culture, though. If you remember day one, Ralph, you know, when you come in here and you got your action plan, which is basically what we're talking about here, and the company comes out and says, we are going to have a kick-ass experience. We're not saying that we believe in 100% customer satisfaction. We're saying, no, we're going to have a kick-ass experience, and we're going to deliver on that. Yeah. That's what we do.
So, you know, it reminds me of when we, August 1st, 2015, that was probably one of the most chaotic days for me in the business. We had no dealer tags. We didn't even know how to use the fucking computers.
We had no internet.
We had nothing.
We had beer.
We had free beer. We had girls serving it, and we sold 6 bikes our first day, and like I think 106 our first month. Back in 50, and it was so chaotic, but we had a good fucking time doing it.
Absolutely.
And that's what I always try to remember. Is sometimes everybody thinks chaos is bad. When chaos is not bad, it's actually sometimes good.
Well, if you think about it, business models change. Government changes things. The policies and procedures of the world change, and that affects business, okay? And a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of businesses get stifled because of that. We don't want to get stifled. At the end of the day, we want customers to come in there and they want them to be social. We want them to hear what they have to say, and we want to put something together that works for them their way. And as long as you're creative enough to do that, you're going to have more customers than the next guy. And the other side of that deal, those dealers out there that have this really stringent systems that you were talking about, and you can't get prices, and you can't get payments, and you can't get this, and you can't get that, and you got to go through hoops and all. They're just trying to maximize every penny they can, and they don't want to give it up, and they're not going to let that bike go down the street and beat that deal. They're just not going to do that. They're
not going to deliver 120 miles for free.
No.
They're
not going to pick up and deliver either.
And they're not going to do $69 oil changes
or 129 flushes. Okay.
They're not going to sell you a big black tab pipe for $6.99 installed.
Right. And they're not going to explain what a 1-hole or a 3-hole is. Okay. They're not going to explain the bikes. They're not going to explain what's good. And most importantly is the owner's not going to come down and talk to them.
They're not going to host all your events and provide you with bands and entertainment and food, and they're not going to do that. Create a banner for you.
We are out there for the riding sociability. And Ralph, I want you to remember something when we first met. I had a nice little, gathering of all the employees, and I told them what the expectation was. And one of the things I told them is, I'm not doing this just for money. This is a bucket list for me, if you remember.
Okay? I truly think you get off on this.
I do, because I wrote these goals when I was a young man, about 25 years old, if you remember the story, okay? That if I ever made any money in life, I'd sell everything I own and go buy me a Harley-Davidson dealership. Well, now I have 2 Harley-Davidson dealerships and 2 Indian dealerships.
So when you were sitting in that Nissan dealership, you had to be fucking miserable hearing them Harleys.
But
as you're selling,
like pulling teeth.
As you're selling little Nissan Echoes and shit like that.
Yeah, I was. That's when you are overwhelmed with spirit that's built inside you that says, I just don't want to be here no more. Okay, and you have to make a decision. Do you want to be happy, or do you want to be right? Well, I want to be happy. Okay.
I remember your first month in here, and you were at fucking motorcycle clubhouses, bars, fucking, all kinds of bars, and just literally inviting people. You were going out every night, and I'm like, how the fuck does this guy even get up for work? You know what I mean? 2, 3 in the morning at bars, and then people showing up. I met this guy at a goddamn bar last night. He's got a fat boy, and he's got a, and then you were recruiting employees that way too.
Absolutely.
Bartenders, finding customers.
Absolutely. I did it. I'm still doing it, Ralph. Now that I'm healed up a little bit.
Then you were out at a restaurant one night, tipping a few back, and you meet a guy, and then you fucking open a restaurant with him.
Open 2.
2 restaurants.
2 restaurants, 2 different bars with 2 different people.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I always say conversations are dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, Ralph, it's like, I'll just tell you this week, okay? Thursday, well, it was yesterday, or day before yesterday. It was a Friday. We were at the Pearl.
Yeah, Friday.
Okay, Friday we're at the Pearl. Well, I didn't want to drive home. I was just wore out on driving because I hit all 4 stores that day, okay? So I went downtown to our old stomping ground, checked into the hotel, and I hit every one of those biker bars down there, and sure enough, there was 25 of our customers out there I hadn't seen in a while, and I guarantee you, I'm going to shag me a couple of good deals out of that because one of them was broken down, needed some help, so I had him towed in, right? And that's what I do.
You know, one thing I've known about you, Bert, you know, since I started, I'm no ass kissing motherfucker, that's for sure. You know how I tell it like it is, you know. But one thing I'll say is you probably you're somebody that doesn't understand the word no.
No,
You do not fucking understand.
that's not in the, that's
You
not
do
allowed.
not understand the fucking word no.
No just means not now, or you're not taking the right approach, or you don't understand.
I
Okay.
mean, even but I listen to the. I'm not in the sales manager role anymore. But I listen to sales managers tell you that there is no way, and I'll never forget when I had a Canadian deal, and I said, look, you can't get financing on a Canadian. They're not American. Well, God damn it, let me see what I can do. And I will never forget, it was the first time I ever saw the bank. And now it was only 25% of loan value.
Right.
But they still gave the guy a fucking loan on a Canadian Social
That
Security
is
number.
correct.
And I said, get the fuck, are you kidding me right now? You know, it was shit like that I try to tell other new sales managers coming on. Listen, the only thing I'm going to tell you is do not tell him that you can't do it. Otherwise, he's going to tell you that guy can mow my fucking grass.
Well, the truth is that I do believe there's a way, and no matter what, if you beat on that dead horse hard enough, it'll get up and walk. You
So
know,
your optimism is always through the roof. And I always said this, what's your most important thing in the business?
people, and I'd like to talk about that
Yeah.
because to me that's the way we need to end this first podcast. By the way, okay, because the people are what's important. And what people, all you got in life is time, right? So you got a choice. You can go around and make it grumpy and mad, or you can go around and make it happy and flamboyant and fun, or you could just be in the middle of the road. There's several ways you can do it. But why go through life like that if you got a choice? I mean, and if you can create an atmosphere where people have great careers, Trey, great sociability, great benefits, with a great future ahead of them, well, why wouldn't you do that?
There's a lot of negativity in the fucking world.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot. And it seems like people thrive on negativity.
Yep.
They just fucking thrive on it.
Right.
It seems like negativity actually outsells the good, at least on the internet. You know, people like to see fucking doom and destruction. And I think, you know, me as a Holly guy, Holly always took me away from the doom and destruction.
Well, that's what our industry is. Our industry is about setting your life, putting it into a little box for a while and cruising, okay? It's about getting away, man. It's about coming into contact with all your natural body instincts, your smell, your sight, your hearing, your feel, the temperature, you know, whether it's hot, cold, rainy, whatever. You know, every sense of your body comes into play with this machine, with this business that we're in. So why wouldn't you embrace that and make it all about the people? Because if you think about it, the people that are buying the product, that's what they're buying it for. And why? That freedom that nobody else can give you. Why wouldn't you embrace that and make your people that work for you feel good about themselves and be able to be themselves and not some cookie cutter that's trained to say, can I help you?
You mean the culture wasn't like this when you sold the Nissan Sentra?
Not exactly.
You know, but I always say that though. Like when somebody buys a Kia Soul, it's not like these people ain't getting Kia Soul tattoos. They're not all meeting up at Applebee's on Thursday night and fucking living and breathing that shit. People don't realize the strength of our brand.
Well, and it goes back to the people. These are the same people that will sit here and help us raise money for charity to save people's lives. Now, why wouldn't you embrace that at a high level and make people the top priority? So
Whether
that's
they're
what,
victims, vets. I mean, the first responders, people that lost their homes in devastations and fires and hurricanes. I can't tell you how much we've seen right here.
so Ralph, we're going to end with this. Nobody beats Bert's, and I'm going to tell you why. If I get on that deal, if I know about it, there will not be anybody beat me because
Well, I'll
it's
tell
my
you
name.
what. Why don't we do this? This is a podcast to show how many owners do you think? How many owners do you actually think? Because I've never worked for fucking one that usually even came out to meet people. They were always fucking somewhere else because they paid people to do it. But how many people will do this? Hey, Bert, you want to give them your cell phone on the podcast?
Absolutely. 817 319 2411. I give it to all my customers right here.
So listen, you got a question, you got a comment, or you want to know
me.
why nobody beats Bert's? That's Bert's personal cell phone number. I can guarantee you there ain't nobody in the industry that would fucking lay the cards on the table like that. And that right there, my friends, is another reason why nobody beats Bert's. And I'm not Bert. I'm Uncle Daddy. All I do is put the mints in the urinals at this place and maybe blow a few leaves around and fix the motion, pick up garbage. Anything else we wanted to add?
I think I'm going to the urinal.
And I think I'm going to drop a mint.